You're listening to the International Community Radio Network.
are bought by the corporations and the banks. There's a real revolution going down. The tide is turning. It's evolution from the ground up. And Wall Street's burning. Occupation by the people for the people is history in the making. As the people wake up and realize that the banks aren't giving, they're only taking. Revolution going down. The tide is turning. It's evolution from the ground up. And Wall Street's burning. There's a real revolution going down. The tide is turning. It's evolution from the ground up. And Wall Street's burning.
United we strike. U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E. Strike. U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E. Strike. I'm alright with United we strike. Stand in line with United we strike. Join the fight with United we strike. We need the millions of working class heroes who've had enough of being less than zero. All together right with United we strike. Jump
UWS-Radio and the International Community Radio Network is a joint partnership in Internet Community Radio, working to give each country a voice on a united global platform.
Yes to the New World Order.
Yeah, he's here.
All right.
Live.
He's live. We're live.
We're live.
Yeah. Just go ahead. We are all live now. This is Musicians for Freedom. This is Detlev, Switzerland from Wake News Radio, and I've got great hosts here. Are you all available now?
We're live.
Okay, yes, we are live. So why don't you take over here? Sharlene, maybe?
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Musicians for Freedom, and I'm Sharlene Holt, and I'm in Colorado, and our lovely hostess with the mostest, Karen, is in Oregon, and we're producing the show today with Detlev, who's in Switzerland. And with me today in my home rehab studio place here, where I'm recovering from a fractured pelvis, is Chris Farnworth. So Chris is here. Say hi, Chris.
Oh, hi, Chris.
How you guys?
And
right.
our first guest, the first hour, we've also got on the line, we've got Dr. Leonard Horowitz and Sherry Kane. Are you guys there?
Hi there.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Great. And then the second hour, we're hoping to have a band. They're called the Madeleine Haze, and we'll be talking second hour with Zack. Okay, what's going on, Karen?
Well, in this first hour, I really was looking forward to being able to talk to Dr. Horowitz and Sherry about 528. Remember last week we had on a guest, Rich, who played some music in 432, and Dr. Horowitz and Sherry are changing the music business. And actually, I'd like to start with a question for you, Sherry, because I believe it was you who said that the Rockefellers changed our tuning. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, actually, that was actually a real great article that Dr. Horowitz wrote, but they did. They changed it. They implemented the 440 hertz frequency into the music that we are listening to right now, and it was an imposition that they did. And he worked with Joseph Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister for the Third Reich, for Hitler. And
the Rockefeller Foundation hired Goebbels to persuade the European musicians in 1938 to advance that standard for the world, for the Western world's music. And so that's what the article that we published both in the Medical Veritas journal online, medicalveritas.org, as well as in the book of 528. It's expanded significantly in a chapter there on musical cult control.
And we are changing definitely the music industry. We have a record company. It's called 528records.com, and if you are a musician, you can actually upload your music to that site if it hasn't been originally created in the 528 frequency, which is equal to 444 hertz. If it hasn't been originally created in that, you can upload your music to 528records.com, and then it will automatically transpose your music and send it back to you in a music file. It will also become part of our music library, and if anybody donates for your music, then you get 60% royalties of that. So we're beating out all the other record companies with their deals. And so it's a great opportunity if you're a musician to get out there, to get noticed, and to also do something that's different. It's going to really change the way everybody sees music as well as healing people. And that's what 528 does. It's a healing frequency. It's a love frequency. And it's
there you go.
Karen's got
Hear it in the background?
Definitely tuning for it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the remastering is what we're doing and giving to the musicians and their agents. It's a free contract that's available on 528records.com. And then we've also launched 528 Radio Network. So you can go to actually right now 528radio.com, and you can select from one of 6 genres of music. There's 528 blues, 528 Motown, 528 classic rock, and we're expanding to about a dozen stations that would cover most of the most common genres of music to advance 528 transposed music and then so the musicians are really part of what I see as the leaders in the world evolution, revolution, 5-8 love revolution, and is a consciousness revolution, and it's really, interestingly enough, not in sync with the standard music, but it's also not in sync with evil. It's not in sync with craziness and silliness and stupidity geopolitically and economically. It's all of those things that are happening in the world today ultimately are directed by musical mathematics. If you look at the physics or biophysics or spirituality of it, you come to the same conclusion that math rules, music rules. Music, the universal language, has the capacity to set us free. And so this is a musical revolution, and we're just really blessed to advance it with a lot of very wonderful people.
You know, we have, every Sunday, we have this program here with Sharlene, who has the website Musicians for Freedom, and we would love to be able to work something out with you, too, to where we can maybe help each other and play your music here. We are a totally independent station with all volunteers. You can see we don't have any donate buttons up, which at times we feel like kicking ourselves. Now, Sharlene has a donate button up for Musicians for Freedom, which is good. But at United We Strike and the radio, we are just volunteers. But it would be great to be able to branch out and incorporate some of this 5-8. We'd also like to get some of the 4-3-2, everything that we can do to help put out a better healing vibration, to help change the consciousness of the world as it is, because we do need to help energetically in every way possible.
Sounds like an amazing idea.
Yes, we'd be happy to, sure.
All right, so we'll have to talk after this then.
Yeah, please do. Let's also mention, you mentioned 4-3-2 a couple times, and there is an interesting phenomenon that's happening, not only in the music industry, but in every area where people are advancing freedom and consciousness and health and healing and peace in the planet. It's called controlled opposition. Controlled opposition. Sherry, you're most advanced really in exposing what that is. Why don't you give a little bit of background on controlled opposition and how it plays into this musical revolution?
Well, controlled opposition actually gives a semblance that these people that have come into the truth movement are one of us. Therefore, we the people. And a good example of a well-known film director is Michael Moore, who goes and produces these films, and it seems like, wow, this guy's really like out there. He's talking against the government. He's talking against the banksters. But then when you find out who makes some of his movies, you find out it's the very same banksters that he's actually reporting on. So this is part of what controlled opposition is. Sometimes they'll name the names of people that are actually making their pictures because that's exactly what they want to get out. And when you are not so ahead of your time, when you're right on time, when you're right for their agenda, they will promote you, even these government agents. And so this is how they infiltrate all of the entire mainstream media. It's done with a lot of the TV shows that we're watching today. Even like we were on conspiracy theory, and that is also a form of controlled opposition. It's where, wow, look, they're actually putting this stuff out there, but this is exactly what they want to put out there to bring on the New World Order agenda, which is a new banking system, the one world government, the one world healthcare system. So it's exactly what they want. Like, it's time to hate the government, everybody. Let's get on board, and then the next minute they'll have like some sports show and they'll play the national anthem, but, on another channel it'll be against the government. So this is all part of what I have been reporting on in the last several months. Is controlled opposition is really important for people to understand what it is. And what in regards to 432, there's a lot of people that are coming in opposition of 528, and we love 432 frequency as well, but there's people that are constantly out there promoting 432 and saying 528 is a really bad frequency. And actually there's an article up on 528 Records that is all about that. It's about an agent who worked for the Pentagon who has been out there. His name is Jamie Berturf, is that his name?
Yeah, Berturf.
Yes. And he's out there and he's promoting 432, saying 432, 528 doesn't work at all. 432 is the way to go. And
if you're a scientist or if you're even an intelligent, reasonable person and you evaluate the propaganda and the spin that Jamie Berturf and Tyler Thurman and his cadre of COINTELPRO propagandists, what they are doing is they're trying to muddy the waters and confuse everything by claiming that 528 doesn't even have any relevance whatsoever to anything. Meanwhile, it's the heart of everything. So in a world like directed by the egoic mind, where you have science substituting for God and the gods of science and the medical deities telling you what to do, you've got this similar people pushing this agenda for 432, which, again, like Sherry said, we love 432. There's nothing wrong inherently with 432. It's just how it's being abused to block the 528 love revolution, and really it's just so obvious what they're doing because, again, when you apply any reasonable analysis to their arguments, there's no reason to, for example, commit genocide against a certain race of people. Why would you throw out 528 or promote, let's say, just white people, 432? You know, it's just like, it's crazy. It's sick what they're doing, and I think it's important for people worldwide to realize that the people who support 528 actually have proven that 432 is a very valid, is a very natural, is a very healing frequency. But 528 is love. It's pure tone love. And love is the universal healer. And love is where we're heading right now.
Right. I have just a question on that, though, because I think it's Stellar Luna has said, and I'm not trying to be divisive here, but I...
No, please, we should discuss it. This is important.
Yeah, I just want to clear up for myself. I have been under the impression that my research showing that 528 is the third of the 6 or 9 sacred solfeggios, and that the 528 specifically is the one that scientists are using as for research on DNA repair and healing, whereas the 432 I've heard is more of the heartbeat of more of the megahertz for the heartbeat. So I have been under the impression that the 532 is miracles, DNA repair, and the 432 is love, heart, and that's the difference. But they're both sacred frequencies.
Well, I can agree with both sacred frequencies. I don't have any data on 432 being a heart frequency. I have a lot of data on 528 being a heart frequency. It's, for example, you look at the color greenish yellow, that's 528, and that's the heart of the rainbow. So as above, so below. What's true for the rainbow is true for the musical mathematical matrix of creation. Because again, you look at water. In the beginning there, in Genesis 1:1, there was water. At the same time, there was God. So water and God are actually part of the triune God. There's the Holy Spirit, there's the Creator in the water. And then you look at light, you know, Genesis 1:2, Creator says, let there be light. All of the other theologies agree that word, sound, frequency was spoken to create the sun. And you have the same thing as the dolphins playing with bubble rings underwater through sonic vibrations. They heat it up, and what happens is sonoluminescence, the water actually starts to glow. So the sun pops out of the water from the dolphins' music. But that model, you see, when you've got in Genesis 1:2, the sound of the Creator's voice creating a dome or firmament in which the sun came out and the light, let there be light, was shown. That light goes through the water and shows us greenish yellow in 528 in the rainbow. And that frequency at the heart of the rainbow is the heart of God's heart, is the heart of your heart. And so that's why in Oriental medicine, the heart chakra is greenish yellow. 432, if you look at where it exists in the color spectrum, it's almost black. It's purplish black. And so it doesn't appear to fit in that analysis of 432 being love. It doesn't fit into anything but what we have some evidence, and I believe it's good evidence, that it's associated with the pineal gland and the egoic chakra. Pineal gland is third eye, it's consciousness, it's where, what we think and where we're potentially even evolving consciously, spiritually. That's ego. That's where the Rockefeller Foundation and the global industrialists who are demonic in their activities, they're degenerative, obviously. They're degenerating the planet. They're hurting people, and it's all for profit and power. And that is a demonic or a dissonant agenda to collaboration, coordination between, extended family persons. Our hearts are connected to one another if we're in sync with community. And so what's happening is that they issued 528. They issued 741 as the pure tone that creates dissonance to the heart and stimulates the ego for the advancement of this spiritual warfare that's happened on planet Earth, where we are listening to the music, what's called in classical musicology, the devil's interval, or the tritone, the very aversive diminished fifth or augmented fourth, which is very, very annoying when it comes to particularly 528 love. It's a dissonant energy, and it was selected specifically because it stimulates that part of mentality that you can indoctrinate the culture with to suppress spirituality optimally and suppress the heart love optimally. So you can conduct wars, you can get the people to be persuaded to send their children to both war as well as the vaccinations. This is all mental. It's a substitution of science, pseudoscience really, for legitimate science in the manipulation of the population.
And, the curious thing is that all of these agents that have been attacking us since, Dr. Horowitz since 2007 and me since 2010 when I came out and exposed them, they are pushing 432. So it becomes suspicious of why they took our logo, which is our 528 logo, and they desecrated it with blood and demons. They've done everything possible to threaten us. We have agents that contact us and said, you don't know what you're talking about. 528, you better stop spreading that around. We had another agent actually who used to be working with the government, and now he's defected, he claims, and he says, he contacted us and said 528, you guys are right on with that, and he even purchased Dr. Horowitz's latest book. But it's we don't really get why there's nobody out there with 528 saying 432 is a bad frequency, but you have all these agents out there pushing 432, claiming 528, don't use 528, and constantly writing stuff up. I mean, they're constantly writing stuff up against us. They're saying, it's demonic, and we're demonic, and because we're exposing them. So, the question is, why is this happening?
It's happening because the effort to, as you mentioned, control the opposition. We are in a 528 love revolution in a world that is going to war and advancing population control via various methods of genocide, including biochemical warfare and weaponry and vaccinations. This whole concept of destroying people's lives is nothing new. It's been going for centuries, and the global elite that direct it, have no defense against love. Love is the universal healer. Love is a cosmic vibration, just like you said. You've got 528 is the third note of the original musical scale. It's like do, re, mi, mira, gestorum in Latin. It's the miracle note of the universe. And love is that miracle worker, that heartfelt loving intention that you bring to prayer with faith. That is a powerful, it's probably the most powerful force for spiritual change and positive results. And those miracles that occur, actually, it's interesting, you now, given the evidence that we have in the book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love, you have the evidence to prove how miracles work. It's the technology of miracle production and creation that we're dealing with. And you don't see 432 in either the original musical scale, the original solfeggio. You don't see 432 in the perfect circle of sound, where both you see 528, and you do see 432 as it relates to 528 in sacred geometry, which means that 432 is a natural frequency, has been used for many, many years by many, many ancients, as has been the 528, and in Hawaii, for example, there's slack key, so they go down to 417, or they, in the 1930s and 40s, when the classical musicians were very opposed to the Rockefellers' standardization of the standard tuning, the institutionalization of A440, there was Llewellyn Lloyd, who was probably the world's leading expert in this field. He published a commentary on how horrible this imposition of A440, which, when you're in A440 standard tuning, your F sharp, which is prominent in your D chord, is 741. And that's a very dissonant, that's called the devil's tone or devil's interval in comparison to C528. When you're in A444, and this is the take-home message for all the musicians listening, all you have to do to start to really vibrate in harmony with the entire cosmos, the heart of it, is tune up 4 hertz from A440 to A444, which puts your C directly into 528. So your typical octave, you begin tuning with C 528. And that's how you achieve it, by going simply tuning up 4 hertz to A444. That's what Llewellyn Lloyd actually, in his commentary in the 1940s, after being disgusted with the Rockefeller Foundation and Joseph Goebbels' solicitation of the British Royal Institute, they standardized it based on the propaganda. And interestingly enough, this happened only 3 months before Hitler invaded Poland. So you had Hitler's top propagandist, Joseph Goebbels, going to Britain, promoting to the British Royal Standards Institute the necessity of standardizing the Western world's tuning to A440, and that came directly out of the military research of acoustic weaponry to produce psychosocial stress and literally create, quote, mass hysteria, end quote, in 6 to 8% of the population that listens to A440 and 741, you get mass hysteria production. And that was their intention, to create confusion in a war arena of the targeted populations. This is where we got A440 standard tuning. That's the history of it. And the history comes out of the Rockefeller Foundation archives. There are experts that have reported on it, that we've reviewed their research and reported it, and that this is why we really need to look carefully today at those who are promoting 432. Well, that's wonderful. Don't badmouth 528, because they're intimately connected. They're in harmony, they're in resonance. Energy is associated with sacred geometry. Why don't you just get on board with the reality, which is, let's celebrate the fact that we now know what love is in terms of energetically and how it affects us in our hearts, and why the heart chakra is greenish yellow, why chlorophyll was selected by nature to give us the breath, the oxygen that carries the electron resonant energy of love, 528, at the heart of the sun. We have the sun's recording from NASA. We can easily see that it's directly in harmony at its foundation with 528 hertz frequency. We can see all these miracles of nature, and we can understand our own life depends on the breath, which, again, is generated fundamentally in this core, creative, miraculous frequency of 528.
Wow. Well, one of the core concepts that I really just love is the fact that since we're all vibration and we're sound and we're energy, that actually each one of us individually is our own unique song of God expressed incarnate.
Well, that's exactly what I feel too, and I give you a definition, and I have been promoting this for several years, but it's very solidly evidenced powerfully in the book of 528. You are, by definition, a digital, bioholographic precipitation, crystallization, miraculous manifestation of divine frequency vibrations coming out of water. You're a hydrosonic creation. And that's really the best definition of what a human being is. You know, it's fabulous when you have an understanding, just like you're saying, that we are the music. You are the music.
It's a beautiful thought. I did a meditation on 11-11-11, and part of it was focusing on my breath. And this image that came to me was, to me, it was very impactful because I have looked into Dr. Emoto's research, and I definitely believe that blessing the water is the most beneficial thing we can do, or one of the most. And, you know, we're mainly water, and if water is the consciousness of God, we do need to do some healing. We need to have this change. You know, we've got the ongoing BP Gulf massacre. We've got the ongoing Fukushima radiation. We have all these things. And so when I was meditating that time of breathing, the image came to me of the tide, water. You know how when you are on the beach and the tide, the waves crash up on the shore, and as they cover the sand, you can see a lot of the light sparkling. Sometimes it does look like diamonds, you know, when the sun hits it right. And then as the waves pull back out again, they leave everything that we need. To me, I was seeing like sparkling gems of clean, pure water in the form of the waves turning to diamonds, kind of crashing on the shore, and then being left there as the water pulled out when I exhaled. And to me, the significance was that, yes, we do need to focus again on healing the water, healing ourselves, aligning more with our energy, and we have everything that we need as long as our intention is pure. And we come at this from a point of intention for the highest good of all, because we get so lost in fighting amongst ourselves with which is the best. That's one of the hardest things I've found is unity. It's extremely hard to get people to unite with all these differences and all these divisions. So if there's a way for sound frequency to be able to get in and affect us at our soulular level, not so much cellular, but even soulular level, to where it wakes us up and aligns us and helps us to change as we move into 2012, I think that's a wonderful thing.
I really like that cellular level. That's really great.
Yeah, I liked everything you said. It was fabulous.
It's amazing. the thing about the ocean, what you were speaking about, was really important too, because the minerals that actually you're seeing in the ocean that sparkle are really the most healing of all. I mean, those are, and any remedies that you take that are non-pharmaceutical, the best remedies are the ones that include all the minerals from the ocean, the sea minerals. And even in all of our products, we put like so many minerals from the sea in there. And so it's really important to know, for everybody to know, that they are the greatest healing tools ever, I think.
And the minerals carry the element of the electron, and see all the energy. If you want to recreate the universe and you want to have the technology to do it, primarily musically, is you have to understand electrons. And that beautiful metaphor that you gave us, Karen, where you're looking at the ocean and you're seeing this spectacular bubbling up of refreshing energy just pouring out from the waves, that's oxygen coming out. That water, as soon as you vibrate that water molecule H2O, oxygen pops off, and what's popping off is negative air ions. There's a lot of negative electrons, and it's those electrons literally that carry the restoration, the re-energizing. If you look at, for example, you want to clean up your atmosphere, you do it with a negative air ion generator, or you go out right after a thunderstorm and the air is so fresh and pure and clean, you feel it in your lungs and you're just uplifted by it. That's exactly what we're talking about, and your beautiful vision. When you speak of this is the solution to everything that ails us, you're absolutely right. The universal solvent, the solution that solves every problem, is water. And so it's beyond a vehicle of consciousness, water is. It's actually the source of, just like God is the source, water is water God. In fact, Jesus referred to water as spirit water. And that's part of the... Yeah, beautiful. And he went to John the Baptist. When you go into baptism, after a hard day at work, you're so tired, what happens is you get refreshed as soon as you get into a shower or a bath, or better yet, jump in the ocean, and you've got the most magnificent baptism. And if you understand these simple concepts and bring exactly what you said, was so powerful and so true. Heartfelt, loving intention in faithful prayer, vocalized. Your voice is the most powerful healing instrument on the planet. And now how it works, how it operates as a miracle technology for creating restoration in the body as peace, as well as peace on earth. How it works is all vibrationally, hydrosonically. Water sound combination causes this impact. And what you're saying, what we're really discussing is, and congratulations for being leaders, because very few people understand what we're talking about, and it's powerful power to change this planet to where our destiny is calling us for 1,000 years of peace. That's where we're going. This is the technology to do it. This is the discussion to explain the technology of how we're doing it. And the most beautiful thing that I realize is that this is like, in your metaphor, the ocean, or in another metaphor, a pebble in a pond. When you throw that pebble into the middle of a pond, it radiates out, the waves do, until it reaches the farthest shore. When anyone sings or plays in 528, because the universe is hydrated and the atmosphere is hydrated, that vibration, even if it's so tiny and small that you can't even hear it, yet just like a homeopathic, moves through water, it moves through the atmosphere, and it touches the hearts farthest away, and it opens those hearts for the healing and the evolution and the transformation within each of us as individuals as part of this holy divine family that you discussed. That's who we are, and this is what's happening right now. It's just a magnificent time in history where we're being blessed with these revelations to enable us to fulfill our destiny, for humanity to achieve 1,000 years of world peace.
Len, can
that
I
would be... Yes, go ahead.
Can I jump in? I'm going to have a hard time talking because I'm literally speechless on your commentary. But I'm going to make an effort here to get a question out to you. First of all, thank you, both you and Sherry, for what you're doing. But secondly, Karen mentioned regarding the 432 frequency that she had heard that possibly it had to do with the heart. And what jumped into my engineering head, trying to analyze things, is have you guys determined there's a correlation between single frequencies and chakras?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to. I don't have any knowledge of 432 being associated with the heart. I have it associated potentially with as a secondary harmonic of 528. So again, you look at 432 nanometers of light, and it's almost black. And you look at 528 nanometers of light, and it's greenish yellow. That tells me that the Orientals in Oriental medicine had it right, and smartly, this is the selection of the color that is the most energizing of all the pigments. You see, when we're looking out at nature and the whole botanical world, it's reflecting greenish yellow chlorophyll pigment. The light of the sun, it's pushing it into our eyes. In other words, it's uplifting us with the love from the sun. The heart of the sun, the heart of God, is right in that, and it selected 528. And so this is, I think, part of the massive evidence.
No, I see your point in the sense that you're correlating is further evidence, the color of it too. I see your point. It's further evidence towards your point. The thing I just wanted to get out there was that...
Right, because in the beginning there was the sound. Before there was the sun or the light, you had the pure tones of creation, the Creator's voice. So light comes out of sound, and so where does that 528 come from? Well, uniquely, it comes from 528 hertz frequency. I think I've been told by some physicists, I'm not an expert in the field, but I've been told that 528 is kind of the heart of both. It's that one single point, and in the book of 528, I draw the conclusion based on the evidence that it is the 0 point energy into which that miracle frequency manifests physical reality from pure spirit. So the 0 point energy that everybody in the physics world is talking about, that and the double toroid structure of the universe, where the heart of it is like a figure 8. The heart is that one spot where the vectors cross, where you go from nothing into everything. That, to me, is 528. It's the heart of everything. And
I was just trying to make the correlation with possibly the 528 could represent the 7th chakra, which, of course, is the one that connects humanity to the world through the top of their head. And then the 432 could be just a lower, the heart locally here in humanity. Was that all I was just trying to do is get that concept out there. And I'm not in any way challenging what you're saying.
I appreciate that. What you're suggesting is we all need something called further research. That's what we are doing. And, that's exactly what we need. We need people who are not coming into the arena bad-mouthing the whole project.
It's because they have an agenda.
They have an agenda.
And that's the only reason why. And the thing is that what makes it really suspicious is the fact is that they're attacking us and supporting 432. I mean, these are literal government agents that work under the Church of Satan, work for the NSA, CIA, FBI, And
MI6 in Europe.
And I mean, these are really bad guys, and they're coming out saying 432 is a really great frequency and 528 is a really bad it makes it suspicious. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So it's like for some reason they're trying to divert it. Not that 432 is bad because we believe it's a really good frequency. It's that they're diverting the attention away or attempting to from 528.
And trying to discredit the entire 528 love revolution.
Because what is their agenda? The Satanic Church obviously doesn't want love in the world. They don't want to promote the love frequency.
And they want confusion.
Yes, exactly. They want people to come out of it confused. And so that's a question. I mean, if you research even that part of it, it becomes suspicious. Anything that, the government promotes is suspicious.
I have a question. In your research, have you come across any single frequency that is bad? I mean, it seems to me as a musician, yes. I'm really new to it.
That's the one that I've been referring to. It's 741.
Okay.
In terms of it's bad in terms of if you're trying to evolve peace on earth, and if you're trying to evolve into a full measure of harmony, decency, and consciousness for the mass awakening. 741 is the opposite. It's the opponent. Yin-yang. There's positive and negative. There has been, obviously, on planet Earth for millennia, a demonic spirit, if you will, that controls planet Earth. And we, the people, the loving beings that are promised to have in the end times, the mass transfer of wealth stored up by the wicked for the meek, for the loving, and to fulfill Jesus's or Yeshua's ministry of love, that is where we have to go. And what's blocking that is a dissonant frequency established by the Rockefellers of A440, and it's the F sharp, which is the tritone. It's called the devil's tone or devil's interval in musicology. It's 741. And that 741, according to researchers that have been involved, stimulates the pineal gland or the third eye chakra, and that the 741, if you look at the perfect circle of sound, you can go to begin researching the perfect circle of sound at love528.com, or just get the book of 528. It's urgent reading, it's monumental reading, and it's transformative reading. It will change your life when you read the book of 528. But you'll see when you do that there's 9 core creative frequencies to the universe. Like we've talked about, the original 6 musical scale notes, their frequencies are 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, 852. And then there's 963, 174, 285, and then it repeats, 396. And it does that in a circle. So it creates the perfect circle of sound that forms the musical mathematical matrix of creation. The entire universe is operating from those and formed from those 9 core creative frequencies. Now, if you take that one frequency, 741, and you try to make music with other frequencies of the perfect circle, it's in gross dissonance to most of it. And if you do the opposite, if you take 528 frequency and try to play it with all of the 9 core creative frequencies, it's in harmony with virtually everything except for 741. So that explains in classical musicology why it's called the devil's interval or the tritone, very aversive. It's the music of the night versus the music of the light. 741 is the music of darkness. And that's what concerns me about people who are knocking 528. Why would you want to knock the music of miracles? Why would you want to knock this capacity that we have to love infinitely in sync with God's heart, which is manifested, eternally throughout everything we witness. The sacred geometry is a result of these 9 core creative frequencies. In fact, without 528, you'd have no measured mile. You'd have no 5,280 feet in a measured mile is based on 528, because circles are based on 528. Without 528, you'd have no circles. Without a circle, you can't do any physics, geometry, because there'd be no pi, phi, Fibonacci series. You wouldn't have it. So imagine the level of stupidity of people like Botarf and Tyler Thurman and their COINTELPRO collaborators. Imagine the stupidity of these people making a claim that there's something demonic about 528, when everything we see is a manifestation of sacred geometry, like carbon-6. Without 528, you'd have no organic chemistry, because the organic chemistry ring, that 6-sided hexagonal shape crystal structure of life, as Dr. Emoto shows us, is the sacred geometry of the structured or clustered water, which is not something he made up. You could read Ron Sakeley et al.'s work in the Journal of Science and see that science is well-founded and well-supported, that's the core matrix of DNA. The repair energy that you talk about with 528, repairing damaged DNA, Karen, you mentioned that, is literally based on the understanding of what we're talking about, that when you resonate water or even physical chemistry, organic chemistry, with a frequency, that is powerful. That energy of sound is the most powerful. Again, word created the sun. Let there be light with sound spoken that creates this incredible energy. And so this is the way in which creation and recreation and restructuring of DNA damaged can take place. That's why now this is miracle technology for advancing the New World Order, not for corporate multinational profiteers who love killing and maiming and manipulating populations. We're talking about God's New World Order, the promise of 1,000 years of world peace, where we need to have a certain technology to begin to facilitate that transformation, and there's no more powerful technology to do that. But really the manifestation and manipulation of what God's given us to sustain us is 528, is the understanding of how to use sound for healing.
Wow, this is quite amazing. This is Detlev here of Awakenings Radio in Switzerland. Now, Ken and Sherry, would there be, you mentioned a book. Is there anything you've written on this matter? And, because we would be very interested to have some sort of a German translation as well.
Yes, actually the book is written by Dr. Horowitz. It's the Book of 528. You can go to thebook528.com. The actual full title is The Book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love. Right. And if you go to that website, you'll be able to read about it. You can definitely, we would love if somebody would translate it in German. We have someone translating it in Japanese right now. If you have somebody who can do that, and then maybe help us find a publisher in German for that. That would be great. That's what this other partner of ours did in Japan. She translated it, and then she helped get a publisher for it, and now she has half the royalties from it now.
Yeah, see, what I've done is I've created an opportunity to partner, because this is a partnership collaboration. So in the various countries, we're inviting translators to receive 50% of the royalty that the book generates. So by that, we're hoping that in every country and in every language, there will be the Book of 528.
Okay, that's great. Another question, if I may. We are heading to the break. So just before that, now there's use of 741, I think, in popular music, especially in hard metal, rock, sort of. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, it is.
Actually, 440 hertz is actually even played in all of those sounds as well, even in hard rock and metal. I mean, they don't necessarily play in 741, but I mean, it would be somehow, it would be equivalent to that if you had to listen to the irritating sounds. But yes.
Yeah, what people need to know is that when you're tuned to the Rockefeller Foundation standard tuning of A440, which is the standard tuning for the Western world, your F sharp in that scale is 741, is the devil's tone, is the most aversive of all frequencies for the heart. And so that's what you're coming out of when you then follow Llewellyn Lloyd, who said in 1942, I believe, or 43, when he published this commentary, an objection to this imposition of spiritual suppression musically, he said, if you start your concert, your orchestra, tuned to A440, by the end of the symphony, everybody is out of tune. Most of them are tuned high. But if you start tuning in A444, at the end of the symphony, everybody is still in tune. And that's the reason for that is what we're talking about. When you're in opposition or disharmony, dissonance to nature or love, or that feeling in your heart, that warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart when you're in love is a resonant energy of 528 frequency. And when you're tuned to A444, you're in it. Your C is 528. That means that the orchestra and all of the native musicians and vocalists from the native cultures, they never bought into the standard tuning. Like I mentioned, here in Hawaii, where we're broadcasting now, the natives play in slack key. They call it slack key, where they don't tune to A440, they tune to about 417, which brings you in harmony with this whole perfect circle of sound and as well as 528 hertz frequency. So this is where naturally, intuitively, instinctively, musicians can feel a difference, and that they go to that, which is the greatest blessing, because that's where the source of musical inspiration comes from. It comes from God. If you watch the finest vocalists or musicians, their bodies become the instruments. Their experience is that they are in love. They are in this God creation mode, and that this is the most inspiring and healing of all of the music. In musicology, what happens, it's called ecstatic listening. When you're listening to that kind of music, or you're playing that kind of music, you're phase locked to love. You're phase locked, or you're in sync, or there's registered. In the voices are called registered. Their voices are literally divine because their hearts are pure and in sync.
They're home. They're home.
They're home.
It takes us home.
That's right.
That's what.
That's
when
right.
I used to sing, when it was a favorite song of mine, I would become part of the music. And I think that, Sharlene, you know what that's like, too, with your playing. All of a sudden, you're no longer separate. You're no longer listening. Your ego is not involved. You just become one. And thank you so much. Now that we are getting to the very last few minutes here, but I am so looking forward to knowing both of you better. I think this has been just a fascinating conversation. And if you'd give us your websites, please, We'll go out for a break after that and come back in. Hopefully, Sherry, you and Dr. Horowitz will listen in. We've got another hour to go of this program as we wind up our United We Strike Marathon. And again, Sherry, your websites are?
Websites, well, our personal websites are sherrykane.com and drlenhorowitz.com. Our site for the 528 music is 528records.com and 528radio.com. And for musicians, we'd go to love528.com, and then the book is at thebook528.com. And then to read the article on musical cult control, you go to medicalveritas.org. It's the third article down on musical cult control.
Yeah, probably the easiest way, fastest way to get the book, if you just want to order the book, is go to healthyworldstore.com, healthyworldstore.com. And if you're out there listening in foreign lands and want to translate the book, get in touch with us. Sherry, what's probably the best contact information?
Okay, we are going into break now.
Okay, well, thank you.
on Musicians for Freedom on ICRadioNetwork.com every Sunday at 3 p.m. MDT and 10 p.m. UK time for guests and political music live from the Colorado studio.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today on Musicians for Freedom. And today it's Sunday, November 13th. And I think we all survived 11/11/11. I know my frequency is raised. I hope y'all are feeling the love, okay, as we get closer to the 2012 and the miraculous new world that all of us are looking forward to. We recently had Len Horowitz, the first half of the show, and he talked all about the love frequency, 528, and I was very, very grateful to hear from Dr. Horowitz because I was a little confused, and I want to say that when I first tried to tune my guitar, I tried to tune my A string to 528. And that was the wrong thing to do. So, folks, if you're new to the 528 idea, what you want to do is tune your A string to 444. Okay, and what that does is put your C at 528. Because otherwise you will break the string on your guitar. And so anyway, I'm here today in Colorado with my friend Chris Farnworth, who's a We Are Change Colorado guy. Hi, Chris. Say hi.
Hello, all out there. Glad you're here listening.
Yes. And of course, we are produced today with Detlev from Switzerland. Hey, Detlev, are you there? Detlev?
Yes. I'm always in the back here. I'm always there.
Thank God.
Sounds like an omniscient, Detlev.
I like that.
Chris, you know.
Worship. We're worshipful, Detlev. We're appropriately
we're worshipful that you're handling the details.
Yeah, but don't forget our great guest, which is, we just had a tune of his playing.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. And then we also have Karen, too, and Karen's in Oregon. Hey, Karen, you're there.
Hi.
Okay, and the song we just heard was, what is it called, Detlev?
Well, why don't you mute? I put on mute because I'm working behind the scenes, so I'm not in the room.
Sorry to disturb our guest.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just why don't you ask our guest? I mean, he could tell you much more than I can. I can tell you the title if you want to. It's Defining the Deviancy Down by the Madeleine Haze.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that title sort of says it all.
Wow. Okay, great. Well, our guest today is Zack Goebbels, and his band is the Madeleine Haze. Are you there, Zack?
I am indeed. How is everyone?
Oh, doing great. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, your band and where you're located and how you got started and how you woke up, and tell us a little bit about that song.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually started playing together, myself and the drummer, Ben Carter. We met in the end of 2008 and ended up having our inception kind of take place in early 2009. And we started in Richmond, Virginia. We've tended to be somewhat nomadic. We've kind of moved around a bit. We've gone down to the South Carolina area, and we're now in Philadelphia, and I think we're planning on probably calling this home for a little while. And we got done in the studio here recently with the album that Defining Deviancy Down is off of. It's the album is called A More Perfect Union, which obviously a constitutional reference, and the song itself is just about a lot of the stuff that's going on. That whether some people want to call it conspiracy theories or this or that. I mean, we have very strong feelings about it, and we don't want to try and tell people this or that, what to think. We just basically want to make people think about stuff and just kind of get ideas out there, in people's heads. And that's kind of what we were going for with Defining Deviancy Down.
Hey, Zack, how do you guys come up with those spectacular titles you're coming up with? Those really say it all. A More Perfect Union. I love it.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Thank you. A More Perfect Union is actually, it's a line, straight out of the Constitution. Defining Deviancy Down is actually, it's a quote, and once again, like you said, the title kind of says it all. It's, it's kind of all encompassing.
How do you guys come up with your agreement on what you're going to title your songs? Is it just bantering as you drive down the road in your bus, or do you consciously focus on that, or where does that stuff come from?
A lot of times we actually kind of start out with working titles, as we're writing, and sometimes the working title sticks, and then sometimes, a lot of times I should say, we kind of sit down and just put thought into the title, as to what we feel is going to evoke the most emotion or the most interest, to a song. I mean, you hear a song with a title like Defining Deviancy Down, and most people's first thought is, well, I got to hear that song.
Exactly.
So we want them to, we want the titles to be, ear catchers.
Provocative.
Yeah, I can give you an example. I've read a lot of business books, and as I read a lot of them, I realized that invariably the title itself, you really didn't even have to read the book. There's a title out. There's a book out there called The Speed of Trust. And I told a number of people about the book, but I said, don't bother reading the book because the title says it all. And I had a guy come back to me and said, you're right. I read half the book and I put it down because it was just story after story about the speed of trust.
What does that mean, the speed of trust?
Well, that means if you want to do business deals with people, you can move forward rapidly if you have trust. So it's the speed of trust.
Right. How to get that trusting relationship off the bat.
If you have one, then you can move forward together, knowing that the other person isn't going to screw you.
Do we were talking about frequency and vibrations in the first hour, and someone once said to me that a handshake, that's the origin of the handshake, that when people meet one another, that's how you get on the same, you get in sync, you get on the same vibrational frequency, bodily, is by shaking hands. Did you know that, Karen?
No, I didn't, but that's interesting. That kind of makes sense. You physically touch each other, you acknowledge each other, and you spread whatever germs that you have, or if you sneezed and didn't. But that's another story.
And that's kind of part of the conspiratorial perspective, really, then, is why, it's so horrible to see these folks in, like, Japan, when they've got the masks on, because of the germs, and everybody's afraid to touch one another, and we're all being, it's like you got to put that germ-free stuff on your hands, It's like...
that's toxic.
That's toxic. Actually killing it.
Yeah.
So tell us, Zack, so don't you have some concerts coming up? I know you've got one coming up on December 3rd in Buffalo, New York. Tell us about that.
This as of the moment, we're preparing for that show right now. It's going to be a great show. There's a lot of great bands on the bill. It's obviously it's a freedom type show. It's going to be really fun. Come out. If I remember correctly, that's actually going to be I won't say an all day event, but it's definitely going to be. There's several bands on the bill. We're going on a little bit later that night, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun.
How big is your band?
I'm sorry?
How big is your band? How many pieces in your band?
We are actually, we just rock a trio.
Okay.
Oh, cool. And what do you play? Are you a guitar player? Are you a singer? What do you do?
I'm the guitarist and vocalist, and Ben Carter is the drummer, and our bassist is Pete Trafalski.
Great. Do you have any CDs available for sale?
Yes, absolutely. Our newest release just came out. It's called A More Perfect Union, and that is available right now. You can check us out on Facebook.com/, The Mad Haze. And we're on all of your digital media outlets, your iTunes, Amazon.com, your MySpace Music. You can find us anywhere.
Sorry, I have to get in here quickly, if you allow me to, Sharlene.
Okay. Yes.
How did you get to this fabulous band name? What's the reason, or what's behind that?
The band name is actually there's a novelist named Marcel Proust, and he wrote a book called In Search of Lost Time. And in the story, the female character is she's having tea and she's eating a Madeleine cake. And when she eats the Madeleine cake, she basically just kind of she falls to the floor and is just kind of on the floor and shambles emotionally. And it just kind of the Madeleine cake has awakened all of these past memories and emotions. And that's what we want to do, kind of put her into a haze almost. And that's what we want to do with our music. We want to, we don't want people to just listen to us and just say, oh, that's another great band. We want people to listen to it and we want them to be emotionally moved, and we want to, we want them to connect with the music and for it to mean something specifically to them emotionally in their lives, and for them to be able to relate to it, with their own personal experiences. And so that's kind of how the band name came to be.
All right. What's the message, the main message behind all your music?
Message-wise, obviously, we definitely have political views, and we want to definitely make people think about that. But overall, the message is just to think, that we try and be a thinking, fun band. You've got bands that are, that are really kind of art rock and, thinking type of bands where they're kind of all about, the lyrics and what the songs are talking about. And then you got bands that are just more, fun. Hey, we're going to get out here and rock, and you can dance around and, have a good time. And we kind of, we liked both aspects of, of both of those different types of bands so much that, it's our goal to combine that. We want you to be out there and having a good time and lighthearted. And the next song, we want you to be, in deep thought, thinking about it and listening to the lyrics. So we try and find a mix to where we can, kind of hopefully have people experience, a gamut of emotions and, have fun all at the same time when you're out with the Madeleine Haze.
And it's danceable.
Exactly. We always try and have an element of that.
All right. How about tell us about We Set Fire, and we'll see if we can get our wonderful producer Detlev to get that ready to play, and you can tell us what that's about.
Cool. Yeah, We Set Fires. Actually, if you guys know, it's a Samuel Adams quote talking about just setting a fire, mentally in the mind is just to get your mind burning, just to get you thinking about stuff, and it's definitely relating to the government and not being enslaved and not being just puppets, if you will. Just it's all about free thinking and free speech.
Great. That's what United We Strike's about.
Shall we play it then, Karen?
Yes. Play it.
Well, so stay tuned.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
Yeah, this is Detlev Radio here from Switzerland. That's great tune, isn't it? Right. Now, why don't we get Zack on again, or Sharlene, why don't you take over?
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Zack, that is rocking. You guys are rocking.
Thank you very
Power
much.
trio.
The power trio.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The last really good one was Cream, as I recall. About 1,000 likes.
Absolutely. And Jimi Hendrix also, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Hendrix. I was listening to Freeman Fly. He's on Oracle Broadcasting. Y'all know about Freeman, right?
Sure.
Yes.
He has the best music, on his show. He's got nice music. Yeah, he's got old, he's got Stevie Winwood, and Traffic, and just real hippie music, So, Zack, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your influences? Who have you liked through the years? What influences you?
My influences, I've been really minimalistic as far as, I've never really gotten into just a wide range. I've gotten into a wide range of styles, but I've got my select favorites, from each style. My influences, the kind of eclectic. I like Dream Theater, anything from Dream Theater to Steve Vai to Tori Amos and Ani DeFranco and Rufus Wainwright. So, I kind of pull influences from prog rock and, a lot of great guitar work and then singer-songwriter stuff as well. So, and that's another thing that I feel kind of brings a unique element to the Mad Haze.
Well, you probably like Porcupine Tree.
I don't know that I'm familiar.
Oh, well, if you like Dream Theater, you will really like Porcupine Tree. Got to look those guys.
I'll have to give that a listen for sure.
Yeah, I don't know who else to say they're like, but and you probably like Perfect Circle.
APC is all right. Yeah, I definitely dig some of their stuff.
Karen,
Zack,
what? Karen, go ahead.
Karen's cutting out.
Karen. I think you're cutting out.
Yeah, she's cutting out. Karen.
Am I back?
Well,
Yeah.
not really, sort of. So, yeah.
Okay, now.
Karen. Try it again, Karen.
Try it again, Karen.
No, it's not working, Karen.
Oh, she's not trying. That's the problem.
Oh, you think so? Well, women always wait until the men do something, right?
Yeah. The men that are working, exactly.
Yeah, the working men, right.
Well, Zack, we can play another song. Why don't you intro? Detlev, what's another song for Zack that you've got in the can there?
Well, we had two already, but we have The Complex, for instance. What do you think about that one?
Sure, Zack, why don't you tell us about that? What song is that, The Complex?
The Complex is actually, it's straight, it's a relatively, straightforward idea. We wrote it to kind of after, obviously after 9/11, but kind of, in memoriam of 9/11. It's just, it goes back to the Eisenhower speech talking about, the military-industrial complex and how we can't let the military-industrial complex have any, have too much power or sway over things. And that's why there's actually we actually put a part of that speech, his famous speech, in a bridge of the song. And it's basically just saying, talking about how we're still at war, and we don't really need to be, and just trying to express ourselves and our feelings about what we feel the government is doing. And why they're doing it, and how we feel that a lot of it is ultimately unnecessary.
Wow, that's quite a song then, huh? We're looking forward to that one. But I had a question here. Are you being influenced by Iron Maiden as well? Could this be sort of?
I don't pull a whole lot of influence from Iron Maiden. I listened to Maiden more kind of way back in the day. Stylistically, possibly a little bit. It might leak through, but idealistically, not so much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just, a certain influence which you catch on your way. I mean, you're doing your music, right?
Absolutely.
No, that's very important. And then you can hear that, right? Absolutely. No, Sharlene, shall we get into the complex right away?
Sure, let's go ahead and hear that.
Okay, so stay tuned. This is gonna rock.
Acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
Hi, this is Detlev, United We Strike Radio Marathon almost, but it's Musicians for Freedom here. And Sharlene, why don't you take over here? And
you're on the radio a lot, aren't you, Detlev, these days? Boy, it's hard to keep track, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, what can you do?
So, Karen, are you enjoying the show today?
I am, very much. Am I back?
You are.
Well, no, she's cutting out somehow. Well, she has a certain special mic here.
It's the headset. It's the headset. I look down there, and it has an automatic mute on the headset, but I don't press it, and all of a sudden the button turns orange. So it's someone else is doing this in the background, but I'll have to have a new headset for next week because this is dumb.
Well, maybe you've got Satan in there. I don't know. Well, I promised Zack in the break that he can speak of his heart. Whatever he thinks is important. What would you think? Shall we let him?
Yeah.
That's good.
Zack?
So Zack, just go ahead. Shoot for it.
Okay. Well, I'm a musician, so I'm used to being put on the spot.
Hey, Zack,
ultimately,
just let your mic cut out, and then just like Karen did, see?
Right. Ultimately, being a musician is my life, and having an outlet that I can reach people with is definitely very, very rewarding to me. And that's why I always try and we have songs that I've written the lyrics to that are just very, very personal. There's a track off of A More Perfect Union called Petty Jane. It's the ballad off of the album, and it's about my mother who's deceased, and my father's deceased as well, and it's basically just a story about the both of them, and the way they influenced each other and the way that influenced me. And it's great to be able to have that ability to write a song and to have I have people come up to me and they say, it's wow, I'm so glad that you shared that story, because this is what happened with my family or with my parents or with my brother or sister, and I experienced the same thing. And that's it's just great to know that somebody out there has experienced the same thing. And so to be able to have that ability to to kind of connect with people, that's when that really started happening, is when I really started getting interested in writing a little bit more of the the political stuff, and just to try and share our views on that. And we're not out there trying to be something that we're not. We're not out there trying to say, hey, everything that we're going to do is all going to be based on on politics or based on any one subject. But at the same time, there's some stuff that we feel just needs to be said. So why not say it while you've got a microphone in your hand?
Yeah, and also, Zack, it's so interesting to me how we asked you to bring your heart out and your parents came up. I just lost my mom a few months ago, and unbelievable experience. And, I think courage comes a good part from our parents and the support they gave us as we grow up. And so it takes courage to go out in a public venue and put truth out there. That takes courage. And I just noted that in your response, and I'd like to second that's so imperative, the support of our parents.
Absolutely.
It is. Sorry about you losing your mom recently there, Chris, and also about you. Both my parents have passed. The rites of passage that we can't really avoid are some of the most challenging, painful, and yet there is a sweetness about the whole event. In all of its pain, there's an underlying love behind it, and whether or not our parents are still here, physically they are here with us spiritually, in that 528 love in our hearts. Sharlene, do you still have your parents?
No, both of my parents passed away quite some time ago. I guess it's probably been about 24 years for my mom and about, maybe 14 for my dad. Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling, to be alone. And that's why I had a couple of daughters. So my daughters are, 22 and 25. And so their companionship is important to me. I'm not sure that I'm ready for the grandkids yet.
Detlev, do you have your parents?
No, both passed away. Yeah, but it's, that's the way it goes, and it will happen to us as well.
Sure.
We just have to get this experience. And it is a very spiritual experience, it was for me, at least. But if you have kids, and if you are lucky to have kids, you can see them grow up, but not everybody is happy or having kids, in this respect. So, but I encourage everybody to have them, because life goes on. But even if you don't, life goes on anyways. What can you do,
It does, and even if you don't have children, you carry your parents with you. So,
yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, that ties right back into our New World Order buddies as far as how many kids they want around. But the point I really wanted to bring up was, Detlev, could you cue up that song that Zack referred to? I'd love to hear that before the show's out.
Yeah, do you have one?
You mean I've got Phantoms left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you can hear that one, Zack, on your YouTube. It looks like, I haven't heard it yet, but on Zack's YouTube channel, it's Petty Jane by the Madeleine Haze. Is that the song, Zack?
That is, yeah. I actually just sitting in my living room one night, actually just a couple of weeks ago, I decided, we've just started trying to do some more video stuff. We just want to be interactive, with our fans as much as we can. And I was just sitting in my living room, and I was like, you know what? Let's, I had my fiance grab the video camera, and I was just like, I'm just going to put Petty Jane up there just so people can have, just another version of it. It's just me sitting there with an acoustic guitar, but it's definitely it's a fun version. It's it's kind of laid back. It's not the full band version of it, obviously, but it's still in any form. I feel like it's a really powerful song, and the message of the song is going to come across no matter what. So yeah, definitely go check that out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, every now and then I put up songs on YouTube once in a while. I think, I have a CD from 2000 that's called What You're Headed For, and that was the only one that I've actually released out there. It's available at iTunes and CD Baby, digitally distributed. And I actually have another one that's around somewhere. It's called Live at Front Street Music, which was really just a live radio performance that I did back around 2001 or 2. And but I'm looking forward to playing some more music when I go to Nashville. So just want to remind everybody that I have a donate button over there, and I'm trying to get to Nashville and go play with my friend Smokey, who is the bass player with Voodoo Stingray, and he just gave me some good news. He told me that Marty Stewart, who is actually a fairly famous guitar player, is now officially the third Voodoo Stingray member.
Really?
Yeah. So
Marty Stewart.
Yeah.
That's a coup. That is a real coup. Good for him. I wonder if he's around. We haven't talked to Smokey today.
Yeah.
No, Smokey's, trying to, get the few Federal Reserve notes together he needs to pay the mortgage on the new house out in Nashville. So he's doing some of that side work that we have to do as musicians to keep everything going, But that's my goal. Is I'm going to leave here and go on November 20th. Going to fly. Spend a couple months recovering from my pelvic fracture. And
are you still in the hospital? Are you in the rehab now? Sharlene is quite the trooper here from her hospital bed broadcasting.
Well, yeah, I was in the actual hospital for about 3 or 4 days, I guess. It happened on a Monday, October 31st. I got hit by a car on my bicycle. And then Thursday, I think I came to the rehab. So, I've been here for about a week and a half. And, so I'll be leaving from here to go to Nashville.
So, folks, if you want to help poor old Sharlene heal up and get to Nashville, she does have a donate button up on her site, and maybe you can chip in a couple of bucks and help somebody who is doing all she can to raise awareness and to help bring good music and good artists to the program. Speaking of that, Zack, I think we still have Phantoms to listen to. Would you like to tell us about that one?
Phantoms is straight kind of, I feel almost cliche even saying this, but it's New World Order, idea. It's talking about the Union and, how they've already formed the European Union and how they have plans to form, the North American and Asian unions. And, we're talking about, how they're basically trying to set up the one world government across the globe and, kind of basically herd humanity, if you will. And, and once again, we're just trying to make people think about it and just, make sure that people are aware of exactly what's going on.
Right. So let's play it. Here we go.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
Hi.
We're back, folks. Thank you very much for listening in. This is the final segment of our Musicians for Freedom program, as well as the winding down of our November marathon. The second Saturday of each month, we have an all-day marathon coming from different parts of the world. We feature our wonderful producer, Detlev, in German for 2 hours. Then we take it to the UK, and it's in English the rest of the way. If you are interested in being part of United We Strike Radio, get in touch with us through our respective websites. Detlev's is wakenews.net. Mine is taxfree15.com. Charlene's is musiciansforfreedom.com. And Zack, to get to Zack, you go to your cue. Zack is right now. Oh, Zack?
Yes. Yes.
Your YouTube again, your links for Facebook?
Yeah, it's real easy to remember. It's just the Mad Haze. Just forget the Madeleine when you're looking for us. Just search up the Mad Haze. So anything, Facebook.com/the Mad Haze, YouTube.com/the Mad Haze. That'll get you to us.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Zack. Charlene, I'm going to turn it over to you as we wind down the last few minutes here of our Musicians for Freedom.
Well, thank you so much. I was really happy today, Karen, that you were able to get Dr. Leonard Horowitz and Sherry Kane on the show today. What an honor to actually be able to be in cyberspace and virtual space with Dr. Horowitz. He's a brilliant man, scholar, author of 19 books. He did.
He was professor of dental histology at Harvard for years.
Yeah, the man is brilliant. Yeah. And, I'm really excited about learning a little bit more about the 528 and, the whole versus 432, because I am aware, I did put a post on Musicians for Freedom with regard to the 432. And, I just need Brian Collins. I mean, some of these names come to mind, and I think Dr. Horowitz mentioned a few of the names, of folks who are, I don't know, I guess you could call them disinfo or, folks that are COINTEL or, and it's so hard, to really figure out what's going on in the world, to know what to believe and who to believe. And, I'm a big advocate of figuring it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And I would like to update everyone just a bit here about Bert, my friend Bert. He, he's got a lot of irons in the fire right now, and he's bringing it to a head here. He's coming to the closure of his situation with DIA, and I'll have to put up some kind of a YouTube. I was thinking about interviewing Bert to let everybody know, maybe do a YouTube interview, what's coming up here with Bert. But and he's helping me also. Bert's helping me with my situation right now because when I got hit by the car, I also got a ticket from a police officer, and the police officer alleges that I jumped in front of the car.
I know. That's just about as good as trespassing at Denver International Airport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, when will it end? I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, you're laying there, you're hurting, you're thinking, oh, the police officer's going to write up an accurate police report, right? I mean, nothing on the report is true at all. I mean, nothing. He's got people traveling the wrong direction. He doesn't have a diagram of anything. I mean, he's interfering with my life. And so that's what I've really come to understand, and Bert has helped me to understand so much. So, stay tuned for all of that, and keep posted to musiciansforfreedom.com for updates. And so, Zack, we're down to the last bit of our show here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I've very much enjoyed it.
You'll have to check out our website too, Zack, at UnitedWeStrike.com. We're trying to keep this Occupy movement real by taking it to heart and striking and boycotting in solidarity, because a 1 or 2 week strike could change our world and we don't have to all be beaten up, jailed, and abused by the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will send you an invitation as a friend from our United We Strike YouTube channel. And I shall send you a friend invitation from my German-speaking channel as well. So just
okay.
We will get together. Yeah, we all have to be united, sort of, don't we?
That's it. Sounds like our song.
Absolutely, and we've got our song, the United We Strike song by Tommy Truther. And while ending the show, and I hope you all in agreement, we will play this song. Is that okay with you, Sharlene?
Yes.
Sure, we're going to hear Tommy Truther singing the United We Strike theme song. Huh?
Absolutely, and I shall try to rebroadcast the show afterwards, so stay tuned. And we'll have some music in between until it will be fed in, right?
Awesome.
Right,
well, thank you so much, Zack. Thanks again for coming on the show today.
Yeah, that's great. So, okay.
Yeah, enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, see you later next Sunday.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
UNITEDWE, strike! UNITEDWE, strike! UNITEDWE, strike! I'm alright with United We Strike. Stand in line with United We Strike. Join the fight with United We Strike. We need the millions of working class people who've had enough of being treated like sheeple. All together rise with United We Strike. UNITEDWE, strike! UNITEDWE, strike! I'm alright with United We Strike. Stand in line with United We Strike. Join the fight with United We Strike. We need the millions of working class heroes who've had enough of being less than zero. All together right with United We Strike. It is time for direct sacrifice and participation. It is time to